Okay, Wendy said she could see us.
What about Bill?
And Bill, wait.
You're back. I'm back.
Okay. All right.
So we're just starting the county clerk claims. Go ahead, Jim.
First one is from A1 Marking for name badges, $32. Next one is from Creative Printing for window envelopes. The amount is $839.25. Next is claim of Fiddler, amount, this is for ledger sheets, amount $308.39. Next is another claim of Fiddler for Laredo usage, amount $1,768.23. Next one is claim of GBS, application for absentee ballots, amount $1,225.31. The next is claim of vendor $37.85 for maintenance agreement. The amount $16,950. The next is claim of vendor 9824 Zobriel for support. Amount $809.38. The next is claim of SBM for supplies. The amount is $136. The next and last is claim of U.S. Bank for stanchion election, $229. I'm checking for receipts. We do have receipts. So $229.
Total is $22,297.56.
22,297.56. Okay, next up is automation. Where's that one? Sorry, yours aren't either.
I got it. They stick to the table. Okay. Iron Mountain, $92.70.
Hello?
Can you hear?
Oh, I thought it was cut off. Thank you.
He was just looking over the claim. He hadn't read it.
Next one's
Okay.
Fiddler, $2,650.
Okay.
And the last one is for Fiddler again, $6,601.
Got it. The total is $9,343.70.
9,343.70.
Right.
Next up from the treasurer, county general.
First one, claim of coast to coast for supplies. The amount is $89. Next is claim of U.S. Bank for supplies, amount $47.55. We do have a receipt. Next claim is U.S. Bank for postage, amount $483.40. We do have a receipt. Next one is claim of Zobriel for programming, amount $185. And the last is another claim from Zobriel for programming, amount $624.37.
Total $1,429.32.
1,429.32. Next up is tourism. Okay, go.
Let's see.
You have it.
Oh, I must have it.
Yeah, right.
This is not it.
Well, they're kind of just,
And the listing of the claims.
doesn't, because it's all internal, right? We just have the list. We don't have an actual.
All right, so you're gonna read from
There's
that.
just a report. Right. Of the checks that we
You're gonna
received.
read from that.
Okay. Lee County Treasurer, county share, $63.63.
I don't know that we put that on the claims because
It's all internal.
Right. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. So we always
You
read
don't
off of
need
that.
it. Oh, Kathy, you guys don't need a physical claim.
I don't think so, because we're not cutting the check. Right. Are we cutting the check?
yeah, we cut the checks, not to ourselves, no, that one we do not cut a check for.
You're correct.
Okay, the next one is Lee County Tourism Council. Amount is $2,089.17.
So then you do need the claim form for the other two.
Isn't there claim forms attached?
No,
Oh, well, we'll have to. fix that on that.
It's spelled out on here.
I know, but that goes, that's for the record, the actual claim sheet goes in a different, so.
Right.
So there, we have had them, sometimes we do it, sometimes we haven't had them.
We'll have to, for being inconsistent, we'll fix that.
Okay, yeah, so at least for the two,
the next
The two that
and
we need
last,
checks for.
last one is City of Dixon, amount $2,089.17.
That would be the May receipts.
Probably, is that May?
Yeah, Bill,
or
Bill,
might be April.
tourism alone is $2,089.17.
I have it.
Okay,
What is it?
total $4,241.96.
4,241.96. I don't think it's, I think you have to go back a month until it comes in.
Yeah, it's probably May's receipts.
That would be the May receipts.
Right, okay, so they made a distribution on the senior, so,
That's
we have these,
senior and then,
and the Coet extension.
yeah, the extension.
Okay. The ones that just go out twice a year.
Actually, it's gonna be once,
This year we're doing,
and it's done.
we're doing one and done this year, okay.
Catholic Charities, $2,500.
I did think.
City of Amboy Meet and Eat is $4,000. A cooperative extension law, $102,000.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know that it's long. It's a levy.
I don't know where the law comes in, but it's for the U of I extension.
Cooperative extension.
Oh, I know, what is it, Lee over Whiteside?
I'm not sure.
No, not LAW.
I know, but it could have been minutes.
Well, I was.
Either LC.
I don't know why the vendor's built with that name, it's probably needs to be renamed.
Okay. I mean, I could go with Lee Carroll Whiteside, but
I don't,
I don't do.
I didn't build the vendor, it's probably been in there wrong for years.
Yeah, this, yeah, you, on here, it's a cooperative extension law.
I don't know why.
I don't either. That's why I was reluctant to read law, and just read cooperative extension.
You like,
$102,000.
Is that for a particular part of the year?
No,
that's the whole year's.
Oh,
it's their whole levy.
Yeah, so basically, can I just do a real quick, so all these things that you guys are approving right now, so part of our levy allows the county to levy to help the extension, which comes out of U of I, the, county extension offices. And there's another levy that the county does to help senior services throughout the county. So during the budget process, the finance committee determines who they're gonna allocate those monies to, and so once the money starts coming in from real estate taxes, because we've levied for it on behalf of spending it this way, so this is just sending out all the money. In the past, we've usually done maybe 2 or 3 checks, and we'll cut one, and then later on in the year, we'll cut another one. And that's inefficient in my opinion, so we're just cutting them all now and we're sending them all their money.
We used to do one after the first collection and then after the second.
Right.
She's just doing one.
I prefer to be more efficient, and so we're just gonna shoot it out now and be done with it.
So, just because these are different line items on this sheet, so the cooperative extension you said was, just give me that one separate.
You
It's
want
got a different fund,
It's all of a different color. Thank you.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Hospice Rock River, $5,000.
Apparently in the past, did we bring these to you in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
Couldn't that one have been done in 2 parts too, rather than?
All of, what you're doing right now, all of them could have, used to be.
All of them used to be done in 2, and I want to just send them their money and be done with it. I think it's more efficient.
Okay. I would think the higher amounts you would want to do it twice. No?
That's, she's making sure you're not. You just have to approve that they
Are
get their
you
money.
kidding? The interest rate, you know what the last CD I had? 0.18% was the last CD rate that I got.
Okay.
Just give them the money.
They found the bill on aging. 69,500.
Okay. This one hasn't been initial either.
Went back in.
It hasn't been initial. You're gonna initial all later?
Lifescape, 5,500. Well, this is Lifescape CCP, Lifescapes, and this is Lifescapes MOW.
There used to be 2 different Lifescape vendors. There's now 1.
There's now one?
Yeah, because it was the same
Well, how come we
vendor,
got 2 invoices?
but they're gonna go to the same vendor, aren't they? I've got the same vendor number on both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, this is for another 5,500, so then their
But
amount is less.
It used to be different programs that Lifescape did, so some of it went to the rural Amboy could have, even though now they get their separate, but I mean, it used, Lifescapes did do different. Actually, one time it came out of DeKalb for that side of the county.
But this is Lifescapes MOW, 55.
Yeah,
That's Meals on Wheels, and this is, I can't remember what that one stands for, but MOW is Meals on Wheels, and this is a different program which they're offering. But it's going to the same vendor. It's just 2 different programs that they requested.
Yeah, but then you got one here for Meals on Wheels.
It's a different, no, it's a
Different
different
meals.
cities. Meals on Wheels.
$4,000.
I'm not the one who makes this decision, you guys do.
Okay, and finally Serenity Hospice and Home, $4,000.
In the total, are we,
Okay,
you
now,
still want to include the,
extension one, I don't. Is that one on, that's on that list,
it
right?
is.
Yeah, so we'll just take off the 102,000.
Subtract $102,000.
So then the total is $100,000 even.
Sorry. We'll have to rearrange this.
We can do it. All right. And then you need to go back because you were to not initial all of those. Just look on your list. And then go.
Which one do you want?
Well, I know you had done an extension, so you're,
Okay, you want the extension one back out again?
no, I want you to make sure that you initial all of those claims.
Yes, I did.
All right.
No, I didn't. Not the 102,000, but you said
Exactly.
four. All right, now I did.
I'm sorry, we'll try to make this simpler.
Oh, he just took his one. It was fine.
I think you need to talk to Mr. Sattergrath there on how to get your paperwork in order.
Whoa, whoa.
You wanna put it in that
Actually, I just gave you that one and skipped it because his was sitting right here that I was going to hand out now. So,
Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. D. Duffy for back removal, $100.
so this is county board.
Snap removal.
Yeah.
Homeowner animal control.
Next one, Walters Law Office, amount $321.25. Next is Sickich LLP, amount $2,655. Next is claim of SBM, amount $146.23. Next is claim of Trines, amount $20. Next is claim of US Bank, amount $100 for Sam's Club. We don't actually have a separate, oh, yeah, we do.
Literature.
No, we don't.
That's for the club membership.
Whatever.
Was that
That's
it?
just a membership. For Sam.
Okay, so we're not gonna have a receipt and such there.
That's all they got is, you know.
I've got the receipt. I'll
Yeah,
give you a receipt.
Okay, there's not attached to it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, good call. $3,342.48.
3,342.48. Okay. Now we'll do ROE.
Packet one, $742.40.
Yeah.
Packet number two is for $37.15.
Yeah.
And packet three, for rent for 2 months, that's $1,333.34.
Total. $2,112.89.
2,112.89.
All. That's how it's.
Okay. All right. Okay, we have assessment claims.
Okay, first one is claim of leaf contractual services amount $225.53. Second and last is claim of Robert Savin contractual services amount $712.85.
Total, $938.38.
$938.38 for assessment. Claims. VAC, we don't seem to have any for IT today.
Okay, Lee County Transportation Fund, $1,192.25. And Lee County VAC, $106.13. Okay. And Oliver's Corner Market, $99.63. And Lee County Transportation Fund for Van Lee's, $218.
Okay.
And finally, Lee County VAC, $110.
Okay. Total is $1,726.01.
$1,726.01 for veterans. They entertain a motion to pay claims.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
good, thank you.
And what about minutes?
Yeah, with all this fun that we've had this late, anyone have any problem with the minutes from the last meeting?
No.
Okay, thank
No.
you.
You have to officially vote on that?
Well, we just accepted them as they were presented. So, okay. So, and we approved claims, so up next, Kathy.
Okay, I just wanted to report that you'll see on the deposit of funds this month that my IVRS grant came in, and it was in the amount of $23,335. So that basically reimbursed us for my BMAX software license that Bob always says. So it reimbursed that at 100%, and then it also paid for all of the new computers that I put in the election department. So, and then just as an FYI, we recorded 157 more documents this June than we did last June. So the recording world is very busy.
357 more this June than last June?
157.
That is one.
And then I'll just wait and speak up more when Paula's giving her report.
Okay, I got mine and I just am feeling sorry for the election department with all the extra work that's on them. So not even doing an in-person training, so all that, the training manuals were sent, people will have to take their test on their own.
For the election judges.
Yes, hopefully there will be enough people. Would you be able to consolidate some of the precincts?
No.
Even, I mean, they're at the same location?
Well,
Yeah,
no,
that's, so I'm thinking of the smaller townships where 1, 2 people can handle,
no,
you can't do that.
Kid, has Dempsey started any of the construction
no.
on?
Okay,
One
Well,
question. Do you have any idea as to why reporting is up somewhere?
I think the refinancing interest rates are low and there's a lot of refinancing. And so, yeah.
Like that would be like 0.18% I got on the recent CD. 0.18, yes. Not 1%, 0.18.
Yeah. And again, we have not made the final decision on whether we are going to tackle the vote by mail ballots in-house. As you saw in my claims, I have ordered my window envelopes and I have ordered the ballots or the applications to request a ballot. We have gotten a quote from our vendor for them to actually send them out. But we're going to be meeting later this afternoon to make that final determination, whether we are going to keep it in-house or outsource it to the vendor. So it would be covered partially by the grant that they are doing, the CARES Act grant. So just have not made final decisions on that yet. I know which way we're kind of leaning, but haven't made a final decision.
Well, good luck with that, because good stuff. Thank you.
Question for you. If I come in and vote by machine or whatever,
Yes,
you really don't know how I'm voting.
absolutely not.
If I get a mail-in ballot and send it back, you know how I voted.
Yes.
There's no confidentiality in mail-in ballots.
But that is the responsibility of the election authority to keep that confidential.
And does that ballot get
Separated from your application,
verified with an actual on file
written
voter-
signature.
voter's registration?
Yes, yes.
And if you already voted in person, then mail will be discarded.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I was looking at was the mail-in, the confidentiality, that your vote is really not private.
But that is, again, the election authority's responsibility to keep that confidential.
But before, weren't all mail-in ballots, overseas servicemen and that mailed theirs in? Those were returned with no return address on it, were they?
No, they come back by regular mail. And so, I mean, they have to sign their application to request a ballot. The envelope that the ballot's in has to be signed.
Okay.
So there's several steps to validating that signature. So, but again, it is the election authority's responsibility.
Yeah,
keep
well, I'm
that
sure none of
confidential.
you are gonna walk around and say that
And actually,
Charlie voted somewhat, one way or another.
and think about it, if they were going through and recording all those ballots, do you really think when they go through these seven ballots in one day that they're gonna remember who voted for
No.
what? I think
Correct.
Okay.
Just a question, that's all.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
Where the issue is gonna be, if you vote in person here, but the next day is when they're gonna be mailing those to those that haven't voted yet to get your application in, that's where you're gonna be. You could get your applicant, I already voted, but you got it, but it's just one, it's gonna be the cut. Okay. This is Paula for treasurer.
Okay, first things first. So, we did the delay in the due date or a delay in a penalty for real estate tax collections. So our due date was a week ago Friday. And we did collect about 92% of what we collected the year before. So I would say that the extension of time before the penalty hit affected collections by about 8%. So not as much as I thought. Was there a question? No, okay. So just thought you might be interested in that. So our next due date is the July 24th. The pushback date is, they need to pay it by that July 24th so that they don't get a penalty. So we'll see how that goes. And then the next date is September 2nd. And then I don't have June's, really May's collection yet from the state, but just to let you know that as far as sales tax collection goes, we have collected so far for the year, which is really just through the collection date of April, We've collected actually a little bit more than what our budget was expecting to collect by that date. That seems to be because of that Wayfair decision in the online payments, online sales. They now have to collect sales tax and send it to us. So we seem to be, that's keeping us afloat as far as sales tax, because sales tax has dropped locally, but that online seems to have kept us afloat. So right now, we're actually okay with the sales tax collections for the year.
Pleasant surprise.
It is. And we are holding our own on income tax. So far, we're about right where we should be with income tax collections for the year. Public safety sales tax is down 50,000 from where we should be for the year though. So just thought I would share that with you. And I think the last thing on my list was in regards to the email that I sent out yesterday. And I don't know if all of you saw it. Sorry it came out so late. We just were notified, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
That our software that we're currently using is gonna drop their payroll module, and to continue with them, they have contracted, so to speak, with a third-party provider that will do the payroll for you. So we learned that a couple weeks ago. I was in the midst of the last week of tax collections, so I didn't have time to look at it. So this last week was a big scramble trying to pull information together, so I got that out to you. I would have tried to have done it a little bit earlier, but anyway, so the gist of it is, they're dropping their payroll. We have to do something else about payroll. We can go with their suggested vendor, which is going to more than double our cost on an annual basis for software costs. They're charging $3.95 per check. So that, and the thing I found the most fun about it was I asked Zobrio, who provides Blackbaud for us now, well, what are you gonna cut your usual? And they said $1,200. So they're gonna give us a $1,200 break and charge us $20,000 more a year. So obviously, with the fact that we've never been particularly happy with Financial Edge, and it's a big change in the contractual amount. I did check with Charlie right after we were told that they were going to drop this. And he felt at that time that we could easily get out of our agreement with Zobrio. So that was the time, obviously, to look for some new vendors. So we got a price quote a while ago from CIC. And we've got the new Blackbaud numbers, Blackbaud PrimePay numbers. And we also called Cassell, which was the software that we used across the street. I implemented it right after I got there 7.5 years ago. I really liked that software. The city financially is about the same size as the county. Personnel-wise, it's about the same size as the county. It has the same pension plans, same pension plan. They have more pension plans than we do, but they have the pension plan that we have. So I found that it worked very well for that size of an organization. I was very happy with some of the bells and whistles. And since I've left the city, they've actually gone a little further and they bought some extra modules to bring things a little bit more online as far as employees going in and making their own changes. And anyway, so there's upgrades that we could do in the future if we wanted to for efficiency purposes. But the basic software worked really well. So the clerk's office and some staff in my office have gone over to see it. They were pretty satisfied with how it worked. The city is still happy with how it works. So since, if you look at the prices on the email that I sent out, Cassell, which is the city software, is actually cheaper in 3 years. It'll save us about $30,000 if we go with Cassell after a 3-year period. It'll take 3 years to collect that savings, to see that savings. We're gonna be money ahead. It's software that should work a lot better for our needs than the current software that we have. So my proposal is that we go ahead and try to get that purchased. My plan is to bring the GLAP up the 1st of December, which is only 5 months away, actually not even 5 months away. A little bit less than 5 months away, and then payroll will come up the 1st of January. That coincides with the W-2 year and the reporting that goes, so we'll keep that software through the end of December. That also actually gives us December to run a redundant payroll in the new system, make sure everything is working right. And So that would be the timeline. So in 5 to 6 months, we'll be off of Blackbaud and onto Cassell. But to do that, I have some programming money that we didn't end up needing for our upgrade in Cassell, because we did just upgrade in Cassell back in March. So that's nice. I'm sorry, Zobrio, Blackbaud, not Cassell's the new one, sorry. Anyway, we just did that upgrade, which was all the more disappointing that they're now dropping half the software that, a significant portion of software that we're using. So I have a little bit of money left over from that to pay for this, about $9,500. I had proposed that I could take $5,000 out of the collector's automation fund to put towards this. I think I can push it up to $10,000 and be okay. So that leaves the county's capital fund to come up with the other $37,000 to buy the software this first time. So my plan, I'm hoping, is to just, right now on the finance committee agenda for Thursday, I have this as a discussion like I did here. I was hoping to convert that to maybe an approval, to approve just purchasing the software and move it on so that we have it up and ready to go. Because 5 months is not a huge amount of time.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a finance, it's their thing that's on their agenda, so for us, we have years, nobody here doesn't support this, correct?
Right, yeah, so I get, my question today is, does anybody have any concerns, worries? Bob did send me an email asking
Yeah,
about the
I
clarification.
just asked
of the
about how
hours.
much you had in your fund and how much additional funding you were going to need. The 37,000 is not a big
I thought it
deal,
was in-
but with finance and I don't think the county's strapped for money right now, so
No,
I think they'll be able to.
right now, I mean.
And it's something we need. You gotta have it.
Right. And the good thing is that really going forward, we're actually gonna spend a little bit less money. So we'll recoup it, over time.
It's one of those initial,
Right.
and after that, it goes way down.
If
Like
we
you
do
said,
nothing, it's going to get a lot more
Yeah,
expensive.
over 3 years, you're gonna save 30,000.
And I just don't think our employees would be very happy if they didn't have a nice program that could write their checks.
Right, well, I mean,
Nobody would be.
no, we have to pay people their paychecks, yes, or we're all gonna be in a lot of hot water.
So I don't think there's any question.
Are there other costs to migrate from the current software to?
Part of that, the 56,000 that I got in this first year is we'll have to buy a new server. And I was given, Mike wasn't here, so I asked somebody else I thought who was in the know, and they threw out about $5,000 to buy a server. So that's built into this cost of 56,000.
Is that one of the servers that he was talking about anyway for this building?
No,
Well, no.
I don't think so.
This is why we chose to go to the cloud with Zobrio, was because our server that it was housed on was failing. So Zobrio wanted to go to
That's
the
right.
cloud, and that was gonna be the big upgrade. And then 2 weeks or so after that, then it's like, oh, by the way, your payroll program is no longer going to be in existence as of July 2021.
That's right. I
So
forgot.
I'm forced to change one way or the other, and this would just be the way to finally terminate our contract with Zobrio and be done with them.
so to break down that 56,000, we have about $7,000 of that is the annual licensing fee. The purchase of it is actually about $30,000. And then there's 9,000 of training set up in there and 9,000 of the Cassell's people's conversion time to actually pull our information and set it up in the new system for us. Across the street, they did a lot of the setup. I mean, we had to give them the information in like an Excel file with all of the proper information, but they actually loaded it into the new system.
You see any problems in the conversion from your existing data going into that?
No, I'm gonna rewrite the chart of accounts.
Okay.
Because the chart of accounts should really be set up more like an outline, and you have like supplies, and then maybe you have 2 or 3 line items underneath of that that are more specific type of supplies, contractual, salaries, that kind of thing, and there's kind of an outline that is standard in the accounting world. And our chart of accounts is not set up like that. So I would like to standardize it to the way that the rest of the accountants in the world use it. And so everybody's gonna, I mean, we're gonna have to create a new chart of accounts anyway, because their structure is slightly different than the one that we have now. It's pretty similar, so I'll just create a crosswalk for everybody saying this was your old account number, this is your new account number. And we're gonna have to switch it over during the budget process so that it's ready to go for December 1st. But other than that, no, I don't see any other conversion issues. Other than pulling the information together and, you know, to give to them and to do a little testing and all that.
Right up your end, right?
Oh, I've done it a couple other times, so not happy about it. I just want to say, I was really, really unhappy when I heard this news. But
Well, I'm sure Kathy was too.
yes, she wasn't very happy either.
You have no idea.
Doesn't take too much to get excited.
I have the November election and then switching payroll in December and January.
There's a lot of expletives that Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So unless somebody has some concerns about this plan, I think we're gonna take it to finance on Thursday.
Okay, good luck. Mr. Sandegren.
Okay, well, my assistant was in charge of the committee report, and he sent it out to all of our grant coordinators, and they all contributed, as you can see. So he gave you quite an extensive report. The main thing is, we're still working, we have no idea on the opening of schools. We probably won't for a while. We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow afternoon with the state board, see what they've changed now. State board and the Illinois Department of Public Health are trying to get together on face masks. There's a lawsuit saying that, you know, it's not allowing them to impose face masks. We have parents that are saying that they have to send their child to school with a face mask. They're not gonna send them. We have parents saying, we're not gonna send our child to school because not enough people will be wearing face masks. So we have to allow for remote learning, and we have to allow for in-person learning. We've talked about splitting the schedule so that some would come on one day and some would come on the other. We have parents saying, I have to work, my child is gonna be dropped off at the school every day. Deal with it, because I have to go to work, and I understand that. So every district has a committee put together that they're all trying to work through this. We're all working together every Thursday morning. We're having an administrators meeting to talk about all the problems and what the solutions would be. Every meeting, we end up with more questions than we have answers, but that's the way it's gonna have to be. So this will be fluid for the month of July, and the biggest issue, one of the biggest problems is most of our principals are on 11-month contracts, and they have the month of July off. That's how their contract is set up. And so either they're working for free, or they're gonna have to try to figure out a way to get their vacation in during the school year, which never works. So that's an issue. I haven't yet to see an administrator that's not just canceling vacation plans and working on this, but it's a tough time. We're working on it. And if you see people saying that they have a plan for opening up their school, they are just putting something in the media to satisfy people, because nobody knows for sure what the plan's gonna look like yet. We don't know. We're doing our best. There's, if you see posts on social media, just ignore them now, because nobody has the facts. Everybody thinks they have the facts, but nobody has the real facts. But that's the main thing with the report, is that we don't know what we don't know yet, so we don't have anything. We're all working on plans to open as usual about the middle of August. That doesn't mean we're actually gonna do it. And it's probably gonna be a blended type of instruction. And as we can see with trying to get set up the meeting this morning, if we try to do that in every classroom so kids can remote in, it's gonna be really hard, and there's gonna be a lot of extra expense. But that might be what we have to do. Our professional development department is working very hard to work with teachers and administrators on how to do this, and also the social and emotional part of what the kids are missing. And so, as you can see, we've had usually June and July are our slow months. We had 1,600 participants in June. They're all hungering for information, and we're doing the best we can to get it out to them. Our Regional Center for Change is ready to open up if we can. We have face shields for every kid and for every teacher because they can't handle masks, but now we're being told that those aren't allowed, so we don't know how that's gonna work. But we're gonna do our best. Our truancy team has changed to more of a at-risk remote learning team where they're gonna help, track down kids that are supposed to be remote learning but haven't logged in for 2 or 3 days. They're not exactly truant, but our team is gonna be going out to help them figure out what the problem is, if they need a hotspot, if they need a device, how we can help them so those kids that are at home can still get learning. It's not gonna be the best, but it's gonna be the best we can do. Our educational outreach program is hopefully starting to work with kids one-to-one. Those are the 17 to 24-year-olds that have dropped out. We wanna work with them to get their GEDs. Our parents as teachers is doing everything remote, and I've advised them to continue to do that. So we have Zoom licenses for every one of our parents as teacher instructors so that they can work with their families because we don't want them in the homes. And they're doing YouTube videos so the parents can get on whenever they want. So we're doing the best we can. It's a trying time, but it's an interesting time, and we're gonna get through it eventually. That sums up 5 pages of a report.
State funding.
Yes.
Now the state has to allocate funds to parochial schools. Some,
Through the CARES Act. Yeah, because that's based on Title I. So the CARES Act money that they get, a portion of it goes to parochial schools because that's federal guidelines.
Yeah.
But it's just the same portion that when they get Title I funds, a portion of that goes to non-public
it's not
schools
gonna-
too. So it's not the EBF funding, which is what we used to call state aid, which is evidence-based funding. That part does not go to the public schools, the non-public schools. It's the CARES Act money. Part of that goes. And that's still up in the air which way. They told them to put a pretty good chunk of it in reserve before, so waiting for the federal government to rule on how much the non-public schools get. We know how much they should get based on what we've done with Title I before, but there's a chance it could be a bigger figure, so they're putting that money in reserve. I'm sure they're getting a wonderful rate of return on that money that's gonna be sitting there. But that's that, and as far as working with parents that all say they're gonna homeschool their children because they don't wanna send them home, because they don't wanna send them to school wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. We will try to work with a way to do remote learning, because if we don't, we're worried about the learning that they're gonna get. Plus, our evidence-based funding is based on attendance now completely. And so if all those kids go to homeschooling, then next year we'll have a 20% reduction in our evidence-based funding because we're not teaching those students. So we're juggling all these in the air. We're trying to get the word out that don't freak out and say you're gonna homeschool your student. We're still gonna work. If you are not comfortable sending your child to school, we're gonna figure out a way to get remote learning if we have to. But we want you to understand, we're working as best we can to have your child safe when they come to school.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Just going, the plan still for the opening for this building to the public, still in progress, your screen's coming up yet, or not yet? Nothing of that's been installed, you haven't had time to get redesign?
No, we probably need to have a meeting though of department heads here in this building to talk about what happens the 1st of August. But,
Okay,
yeah.
so maybe do that before Thursdays.
Yeah, well, we could try, yeah.
I know, well, I mean, that. You know, just-
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be the end of the month.
Pretty tough. August 1st. I've got Shields ready for our copies, getting that done. And you're gonna you need some modifications on your.
I'll probably use the pit or something, but.
Judy, I gotta go to another thing here, but I got a couple of announcements.
Oh,
I don't know if everybody knows, Ray Harrison passed away Saturday, I believe. And funeral is Wednesday, this is Tuesday. Ray was on the board forever, and properties chairman for a long time, vice chair at the one time, years ago, but real good guy, paid his dues a lot. So, secondly, I would like to try, and I cleared it with Kat Ferguson, to try to get the county board meeting back in the courtroom for July. I don't see any reason why. We've got a group of 50, and I went in there and you can social distance. Wear a mask if you want, fine, but just gonna do my best to get that done. I don't like the Zoom stuff. I go right home. So, but that's in the works. Can't say that it's gonna be done for sure, but I'm sure gonna make it work if I can. So, I'll tell you, Joe.
You didn't miss anything, Charlie.
Oh, what I did?
Okay, I think I forwarded to you, that it's not on our agenda, we're not doing anything about it, but just, you know, the FYI that the guy with the Mass Mutual is still trying to reach out to us. Have, you know, you can't say it's not, you know, it's obviously a good program when you can do yourself and family members, and it's ongoing and it goes with you. It's not tied to the job. It just makes more work in the clerk's office, I guess. But it's been a benefit to people in other counties, so that's, we did get the other notice from the letter, whatever. Okay, we'll come back on the thing, but there is no GIS report. I didn't hear anything, so Zach, and so unless Becky, you got anything from him? All right. Wendy, I think you're still there. You said you didn't have anything particular this month.
No, I'll just give a real quick update because you've had already some really lengthy reports. We did go past the July 1st deadline for the leasehold applications. All other homestead exemptions are not due in our office until the December 31st. So we are continuing to take applications via mail, but we've also had individuals that would prefer to wait and come in and hand deliver it once the building is open. So we've got that, that kind of in progress. The other deadline that is significant that we just passed was June 15th is the typical date when the assessors are to have all of their books back to us, and our field inspectors have all of their information back from doing property. And obviously that we've had to delay that and push that back a little bit. We have had some work coming in, but not everybody's been in because of COVID-19. Obviously, they weren't able to be out and about and doing property inspections, so we pushed that back. But to quote Bob from earlier, we're going to get this done. Might be a little different than we've done in the past, but we're going to get this done. I'm still optimistically hoping that the tax cycle from our end will remain on schedule, which means we'll close out the year early in February of 2021. That's still our goal, but we do have a lot of work ahead of us, so we'll see. That's all I have, Judy, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay, stay there. Okay, you guys on the phone? Right, Zoom? Right, I have nothing from veterans, so we hope to do executive session minutes. Do you want us to put that off a month since we were so late? I know you've got Jim has another meeting. And I was hoping, I did send you the copy. I did, just a quick thing on the board. I do have the documentation from CASA. I added two things, or the one we had talked about. In the finance, I just need to get their approval if they want, if part of the board rules, that they do the liaison before budget hearings. They've been doing that. It's not been in the board rules, it's just something, so I was hoping to get that back from them, this month, because that we were ready to talk about it when we had the big shutdown. So, and the other one, I think I put 2 minutes, I put the explanation in of why we were shifting the extension thing. We don't need to appoint anyone to their board. They just need to have board approval or review of their budget. So I'm just moving that to, I had a list. So those were the big things. The other thing, we had left all the committees as they are. There could be some renaming. I did not hear any comments back, there will still be time. I really wanted that we could send this on to everybody way before the end of the year in that budget, so, it just totally was put in hold. Kathy has something.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments on the list that you had sent out. For your correction on page 7, where it was placing the documents on file with the board.
Yes, I had a question. Yes.
That was actually set up by State's Attorney Henry Dixon. And what had happened was, I believe it was during the windmill times, and we had a group that came and spoke to the board and actually had a petition opposing it that they passed out to the county board members, but never gave it to the clerk or to anybody else. And after that happened, Henry wanted that put in that it's not an official document unless it's been filed with the clerk. So that's what that originally meant.
Okay, so, yeah, that part I get. It was that second part of it, because that they have to deliver it to each interested party, including standing committee chair, and then, so do we still need the second part of it?
I would say yes, because then that way, if it is a zoning issue, then it's getting to the right people. So,
Okay,
and then
because
that
that would
particular committee then can address it prior to board.
Okay,
So I feel like that should really stay the way it was written.
all right. I didn't think of it being applicable or mainly because of zoning, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they file it with the clerk and then it
Right.
gets to the proper committee.
Right,
for
and the
where it
standing
needs.
committee aren't members of the county board that would pick it up during committee.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll leave that. Thank you.
And then
I
the
appreciate
other
that.
request that I have is on page 10 for the public visitor comment. I would really like for them to still have to do the sign-in sheet. It gives us the correct names, correct spellings. Those are the sheets that are outside the county board door where the public visitors should
Okay.
fill it out ahead of time and turn it in to us at the
Okay, and
front.
I think that we got negligent in having them out there before a county board meeting. Is that true or not? Sometimes they
There's
don't.
always
They're
been a
always been
pile
there.
on that
Okay,
table
Um,
right there by the door.
all right. Because the attorney general, the attorney general had something on that.
Okay.
I think that even if they don't file that, I think they still get I think that's why. Wendy?
As I recall, what the Attorney General was saying about those comment cards is that we could not ask them their address, that there was a level of privacy that they could retain. But I think asking their name, and like Kathy said, getting the correct spelling of their name wouldn't be a bad plan. And also it kind of documents who's requesting.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess I was thinking that if somebody didn't sign in, they were sitting there, something came up, then they really wanted to speak. I didn't think we could deny them that.
You are correct on that. Level 2, a recent Attorney
That's
General webinar said that. In fact,
Right.
that made me wonder if we even needed the 2 sections of, things on the agenda versus not on the agenda, because it's really kind of the same thing now. You can't have forced them to ask, to be on the agenda, 5 days in advance, for example. But if they just up and they want to talk, whether it's an item on the agenda or not on the agenda, it's my understanding they have the right to talk according to the Attorney General.
Yeah.
So there might be a reason to just consolidate the 2 sections and not differentiate, because we really can't just ignore rules.
No, it's in there that we can give them the time limits.
But you can time limits, can't you give time limits on no matter whether it's on the agenda or not?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, but either one. That's why they were separated in here, because of the different time limits, I thought. You're just saying consolidate that in one and just put it 10 minutes on items on the agenda? Does that make sense, Kevin? And make that one, okay. So we can look at that part and I can draft it, or Jim is really good at this stuff. I'm just blown away. Okay.
I'll take one.
we wanted the address, or at least the town, you know, it says address, I just would love it if we could put city down, because that's where we got into issues with the zoning too. These people coming from all over. But the state says you cannot ask specifically for address. But do you think that it would be okay to just put town or city?
I would like to see the Attorney General's opinion, because this was just a webinar over the opinion. If we read the opinion, we might get more information about, like you said, because I would think having the city is a broad enough, it's not invading somebody's privacy, we're not identifying where they live,
Well, that's,
it's just city. So I would think it would be okay, but I think we would know more if we actually saw that Attorney General opinion.
well, I mean, it was Christopher Boggs was the supervising attorney that did the presentation. So,
Right, so I was thinking we might contact him and just ask that question, is the city open?
okay. All right.
Hey, Judy,
Yes, sir. Jim?
Jim
Yeah,
Wendling.
right.
I'm agreeing with what Kathy said about still having a record. They don't need their address. I don't even think they have to put their town. They can just, this is my opinion, understand.
Yeah.
Also too, in that section 2, where it says the request has to go to the executive committee, I think we could take that completely out of, and just make it, go to the chair. The thing that we have to be careful about with this is what you don't want is a public hearing. What
Right.
you want is people saying their opinion and don't go on and on and on about the same thing, because most of the stuff that's discussed is before the public comment portion of our board meeting. So that's something that we have to watch, to go on and on and on. That's what I'm getting.
Right. Well, that's why we have the time limits. And then the board chair has the discretion to say, this is getting redundant. Please,
That's
you
correct.
picked one person, so that's still there.
That's
You
correct.
saying take it totally out. We changed it to it's appreciated that individuals wanting to speak, let the executive committee, but you want that to just be board chair rather than executive committee?
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Are
then
you
down-
okay if we leave it that it's appreciated? Because that, it kind of gives the chairman a heads up that there will be public
That's
comment.
correct. That's correct.
So,
And
okay.
down there where it says, by the postal service or electronic, or then the executive committee in person, I think that could be, taken out. That's just, I do.
Said questions. Okay. All right. I kind of like that they would give you the board, you guys at the board chair an idea of what they wanted to talk on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They can do that day up.
Like postal service and all that, that would be like perhaps an attorney representing somebody would forward that information on to the county rather than right at that particular meeting.
How many attorneys got a hold of you ahead of time, Jim?
I can't really recall.
I know it wouldn't have been very many, but I didn't know that it happened at all.
I don't ever remember it.
Okay. All right. So we need to redo page 10. Okay, so we will look at page 10 again and consolidate on the other on the timing of it. I guess that starts on 9.
And we've really not followed that practice of the 10-minute.
Yeah, we have.
No, there's been a lot of them that have gone well over 10 minutes.
Only if a board member asks for it, but you're usually there. You're at 9 minutes, you're at 4 minutes. You guys have, we do.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
on
we
there.
had the cards in the drawer that we used, so.
Well, but I mean, the timer, I know that either chairman or you have. If the chairman didn't do it, I did not see you give him the elbow, I'm just kidding, but I think that you're both up there aware of it, watching. So no, I think the timing part's good, because people they will just keep going if they're not.
I think
I agree.
some of that windmill stuff, those attorneys and that would get up there and talk, and I know that they were going over 10 minutes.
but
But
that
that was
would be at the
before,
chairman's approval.
and that was
So-
why we put this in here.
Right.
A lot of these came in 14 after we went through those first wind farm things. And that's why we changed the order of the meeting, so that the public comment on that was after the vote, because what Jim just said is exactly right. It was turning into another hearing, and we can't have that. So, okay.
Okay.
Because of time, rather than us doing the language right here, can I just resubmit that page to you guys? Or maybe I'll go to Jim first, or we'll do it together, or call you on the phone or something.
Yeah.
Okay, because we do need, were there any others on that? There were a couple other questions, and I think Mr. Gibler did move that Office of Emergency Management over to the right category on page 19. I was not gonna mess with that chart. I would screw it up. So, any other comments today? And Paula has said, what's our goal to get this to out, next month, maybe? That would be August already. If we wait much longer, we're gonna hit up against the end of the year, and I'd really, really rather have this much done, because then next month, or next year, you guys are gonna have to work on the shrinking of the boards, but thanks again to Jim.
And I believe that's presented as an ordinance, correct?
The size of the board.
The
The
board rules.
rules.
It's at the bottom. Does it say ordinance, or I guess
It says
I have
resolution.
resolution? Perfect, okay.
Yeah, so then we don't have to let it
We don't
hang
have to
over,
hold it
but,
open. Okay.
all right. Okay. So, I think I know those guys, there's another meeting coming up, so, anyone have anything else? We were gonna go through it's time again to go through the executive session minutes, but I think we'll put those to July. August, oh my gosh, yes.